Injury comeback rule, private test permitted for riders missing 3 races. MotoGP 2025 has once again sparked change, not only on track but also in the rulebooks. In response to recent controversies and gaps in regulation, the FIM and the Grand Prix Commission have approved a series of immediate rule updates. Chief among them is a significant revision that allows injured riders to conduct a private test before returning to competition, under specific conditions. This change comes after Aprilia formally requested that Jorge Martin, who missed the first 3 rounds due to injury, be granted permission to test a prototype bike before returning to racing. The FIM acted swiftly, recognizing the need for a clearer reintegration path for recovering riders. From now on, any rider who misses at least 3 consecutive Grand Prix races or is absent for a total of 45 continuous days during the season may take part in a 1-day private test before making their comeback. But there are limits. The test must be held at a circuit not featured in that year's MotoGP calendar, and it cannot occur within 8 weeks of a GP at that same track. Additionally, there will be no extra tire allocation for this test. Riders may use a maximum of 3 tire sets, which will count toward the manufacturer's testing quota. Ironically, Jorge Martin, whose case inspired the rule, is still recovering from a pneumothorax sustained in Doha, despite returning to action there. On the other hand, Miguel Oliveira, who has been sidelined since the sprint race in Argentina, could be the first rider to benefit from this rule. However, Pramac Racing has confirmed he'll be back at Le Mans, meaning the debut of this regulation might be postponed. This update is a big win for rider safety and recovery, but also a delicate balancing act, ensuring fairness while allowing the injured a safer transition back to race pace. MotoGP start procedure tightened after Austin chaos. The second major regulatory update directly responds to the chaotic start procedure at the Grand Prix of the Americas, sparked by none other than Marc Marquez. With less than 3 minutes before the warm-up lap, Marquez abandoned his wet tire bike on the grid and sprinted to the pit to switch to his slick tire machine. Nearly half the grid followed, leading to total confusion and a red flag from race direction. To prevent future incidents like this, MotoGP has introduced stricter start regulations. All adjustments must be completed before the 3-minute board is shown. Any rider making changes after that must move their bike to the pit lane. Both rider and bike must leave the grid before the 1-minute board is shown, states the updated rule. Riders who switch bikes in the pit will now start the warm-up lap from pit lane and may receive a double long lap penalty, depending on the race direction's decision. The regulation also clarifies that if more than 10 riders choose to start from pit lane, not just the warm-up lap, the start will be cancelled, and the quick start procedure will be triggered. This allows all riders to switch bikes and retake their original grid positions. In wet race scenarios or when the white flag is shown, riders may still enter the pits at the end of the warm-up lap to switch bikes without incurring extra penalties, aside from the standard delay when leaving the pit. However, in MotoGP only, bike changes must not occur in the active pit lane during the warm-up phase. Ultimately, this rule aims to preserve order and fairness on the grid. The FIM is clearly signaling that strategy should not undermine safety or structure. The lesson from Austin has been taken seriously, and MotoGP's governing bodies are responding decisively.